So down here at Porchester Shore, I thought we'd come down here actually and have a little bit of a go at mudlarking maybe, because I know that this is quite an old harbour and all sorts of ships and boats and trade and commerce has been happening here for centuries. And so I thought we'd have a little look around and see what we can find. And so the first thing I did find was down here. Very old piece of thick stoneware by the look of it. Part of a stoneware jar maybe. There's some sort of writing on the bottom now. No, I thought there was writing on the bottom there, but there isn't. But some sort, maybe part of an inkwell or something like that. But part of a smallish stoneware jar. I'm not going to take that home, but we'll keep on looking around. I have found here before pipe stems and other bits and pieces that indicate, in fact I think I found a silver sixpence on this shore once as well. So we'll keep looking. Let's see what we can find today. So quite old pieces of glass. You can tell that's an oldish bottle because the thickness is quite irregular and it's also quite green. Just down here, what we found, it's an escutcheon, a keyhole, but that looks like it's been off of a jewellery box or something, probably bronze or brass. That's quite nice. I think I'll keep that. I'm seeing quite a few bits of old bottles. Now that's the neck of an old bottle there, and you can tell that's old. That would have had a cork stopper maybe, or a glass stopper, but certainly quite an old bottle I would say, possibly from medicine or some sort of ointment or something like that, or maybe a sauce bottle. So we're finding things of the right age here, but not really anything in good condition. We'll keep looking. I'm hopeful that we might find a clay pipe. So just walking along the strand line here, and look at this little patch down here. From a distance that white stuff looks like gravel, doesn't it, or sand, but when we get closer and have a look, what we've actually got here is thousands of tiny shells. Tiny little whelk type shells. Let's have a closer look at just one or two of them. How interesting. I don't know if these are alive or dead actually. I can't really tell whether there's anything in them. They are just thousands of tiny little shells. While we're here, we're going to pick some of this. This is sea beet, and it is a relative of spinach. In fact, if you've bought something called perpetual spinach, or grown that in your garden, you're growing exactly the same species as this. It's the ancestor of beetroot, or beets, if you live in America. And actually, let's have a look inside there. Look at that. See that redness on the stalk there? That's the same pigment, beta-cyanin, that is responsible for the red colour of beetroot. And so this plant, you can sometimes find it with actually a slightly swollen root. It's actually not very difficult, apparently, to take seeds from this plant and selectively breed it in a few generations and end up with beetroot. So we're going to pick some of this and take it home for our dinner. I'm having a curry this evening. Eva, be quiet. I'm having a curry this evening, and I'm just going to throw some leaves of sea beet into the curry just before the end of cooking. A bit more maybe. So apart from the sea beet, the only thing we had to bring home from today's mudlarking was this little escutcheon, but what a lovely little thing it is. I would say it's probably early 20th century. It's got a little bit of an Art Deco look to it, I think, really. So this is probably from a bureau or a small chest of drawers. The keyhole is only about 10mm tall, so it's certainly not off a wardrobe or anything big like that. But I would say that's about the right size to come off of maybe a small chest, a small bureau or writing table, maybe a desk drawer, something like that. But what a lovely little thing that is, isn't it? Let's have a quick update on the seeds I'm growing at the moment. This is the pot that I planted the seeds in that hitchhiked back from Spain in my rucksack last time when I went in November. Now, something's happening, and in fact it is at the seed stations where I planted the things as well, so I'm pretty confident that is, after all, the seeds that I planted. In fact, you can see the seed coat there, with the little sail on it, just down there, little fluffy sail. So that does look like that is the seeds that I planted from Spain from my November trip. Still don't know what they are for sure, but I've been back to Spain since, and I had a little look around at things and the seeds that were on plants, and I'm pretty sure what I've got in this pot here could be this plant you're seeing on the screen right now, because the seeds looked very similar, and I certainly did walk in a place where there were a lot of those about. So obviously that's not going to be hardy in this country, but it might make for an interesting houseplant. It is a very interesting looking plant, isn't it? It's got kind of almost hexagonal chicken wire type of structure to the bush, which is nearly entirely spines. So that's growing, that's looking good. And our patience was rewarded there, because I nearly gave up on that. So the other pot, this is the one where I planted the loquat seeds, and there's no sign of life yet, well, apart from this little piece of grass, which is a weed, obviously crept into the compost. But if our experience with this pot has taught us anything, it's to be patient. So we will hang fire on this, and we'll give it a few more weeks at least and see if anything comes up. So we'll just keep on watering it, keep it warm, and then we'll see if we get anything sprouting in there. So here are the fresh sea beet leaves after they've been washed. They really do look rather lovely, and they are, well, you can see how similar they are to spinach, but they are just a little bit more fleshy and substantial than spinach. So I'm just going to chop them up into little pieces like that, so that they wilt down more easily when I add them into the curry. We've got a nice double handful of sea beet leaves. So our curry is a vegetable tikka masala, and I'm just going to put now the spinach in. All those vegetables are cooked. I'm just going to put in that sea beet and some freshly sliced tomatoes. And I'm hardly going to cook that at all now. I'm just going to allow that spinach, well, sea beet, to wilt into the sauce. And likewise, those tomatoes just really now just warm through. Let's just give this sea beet a taste. Here we go, it's going to be hot. So much more flavour than spinach, and a little bit more substance as well. That's really good. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.